Hey everyone, Mark and Joey here on a Friday morning, and Friday morning means horse racing for us. Brand new bet by Woodbine in the standardbred and thoroughbred field, putting them together. We're going to explain what that is to you, but very exciting for us. We love having these kind of new bets that are happening in horse racing, and we love this one. Friday's a great time to look at going to the races, which we did last week. We're not going to be able to this week, but we certainly will be on TV and on our laptops, which is something people should know about, that you do have your laptop that you can wager, hpi.com, and go on there and join the club there. Not only does that give you a way to bet, but also gives you some resources. Joey, what's available on the thoroughbred and standardbred site on the HPI site for free, by the way?
Yeah, so HPI Bet offers lots. It's actually really great. So first of all, if you do want the expensive stuff, they got all the programs there for you to buy. But HPI Bet also offers free stuff like CompuBet. CompuBet is something we've used in standardbred, only in standardbred, but it's really good. If first of all you need something a little bit faster, maybe you don't know the program. It's computer generated, speed, form, driver, position, 1 through 10 on the starting positions, all that stuff, and even track condition. You know, if they're good in the mud and stuff like that. So it's a great computer program, especially if you don't know much about racing. It's a good way to get yourself started and get your feet wet in the sport. They also have the free program. If you know how to read the program, they got a free one there with comments from Mike Hamilton as well. Also, we'll tell you percentages of jockeys and trainers and which jockeys have left horses to go to certain horses. So they also provide that on the standardbred side. Now, on the thoroughbred side, they don't offer a full program like that, but they do offer a pick sheet and comments by Doug McPherson. He'll give you about a 2-3 sentence spiel on the 4 horses he likes, which is very, very good. You can sometimes find big nuggets, almost like, well, he could win here. Well, that sometimes always seems to win. Trigger, so he offers great comments on 4 horses that he likes in the race. And then there's Brisnet, and I've used Brisnet a lot. Brisnet is, again, kind of like CompuBet. They get, pace, speed, class, hot jockeys, hot trainers, blue chip trainer play, ship-in trainers, speed, like if it's a speed track, speed horse. So they just give a ton of information that's just completely free, and you can use it to however you like. If you find it very valuable, not valuable, it's up to you. But we seem to like it quite a bit, especially with like blue chip trainers, ship-in trainers, where they are 100% off a layoff and stuff like that.
Well, and it's really, I have very little time these days. I used to love handicapping the horses, but as you can see, we're doing these podcasts. If you see our site, we have over 300 podcasts. We also have other businesses that run. So I'm your guy. I don't get to spend the time. Joey loves to handicap, and he gets in depth. I'm the guy. I like going to the 4 reports you just mentioned, Joe, and it gives me some quick things that I would have to do a lot of research on my own. Gives me quicker. So you don't have to think, oh man, I don't have any time to handicap all this. 4 races? Are you kidding? How do I do that? Well, the great thing about a pick 4 is you don't have to be perfectly right. It's not like you're picking a $10 to win on one horse and you've got to be that perfect. You're actually looking for multiple horses within races that might win. And these comments and these reports give you everything you need. Very simple. I actually handicapped. We're going to see how well I do. Maybe it won't work tonight, but I actually handicapped in about 20 minutes 4 races based on comments, the Brisnet report, the CompuBet board, and comments on the standardbred side. So anyway, I think if you're worried about trying to do 4 races at one time, just use those things. More information probably than it would take Joey. He probably spent 90 minutes doing his part. Maybe he'll win. We'll see what happens there. But if you're a casual fan or you just don't have any time, go and use the free. These are free resources. Everywhere else you'd be,
resources.
you would never get this free stuff. You go to a Toronto Maple Leaf game or any hockey game, pay $120 for a ticket, $150 for a ticket, and then pay $14, I think it was the last time I was there, for a program about the game and the people. I mean, it's all free. If you go to Mohawk or to Woodbine, drive in. Guess what? There's no gate. There's no charge. You get in there for free. And then you get in the building for free. And then you get to wager money, which you would spend anywhere else. And I never know what you're going to get for it. Here you got a shot at winning. So anyway, that's my pitch on the pick 4 and why I think it's easy enough for you to take a real good shot and winning some decent money. However, before we get into our picks, I do want to mention the sponsor for this show of ours, which is our Two Breeds Racing Club. God, why can't I get that out? twobreedsracingclub.com. And this is a group putting together a racing stable, essentially, of standardbreds and thoroughbreds, so people would get a chance to be part of both breeds. And you're getting a chance with this bet. It kind of works right in. So check them out. Two Breeds Racing club.com. I usually say stable, so it's got me thrown off here. But anyway, they're a sponsor. You're going to see them on screen, so you can ignore what I just said, and you'll see them on screen. So they're our sponsor of this particular podcast that we have. Joey, let's not waste any more time. Let's get into our picks. I'm going to let you go first, and then I'm going to go after you, and I'm going to tell people that I have to put on reading glasses. Turned 63 on Wednesday, and they're awful to look at. So Joey's going to blank me out. You're just going to hear my voice when we get to me. But Joey, let's put your bets in play, and then we'll take a look at mine.
Yeah, so the first race on the thoroughbred side, I like 2 horses here. Actually, small fields, only 7-horse field. So, but anyways,
6, I think, in the first one, and then 7.
6 and 7.
Yeah.
Anyways, I like the 5, and actually, as we talk about Doug McPherson, who I'm sure does a great job, he doesn't have him in his top 4, but
I have the 5. Same thing. Yeah.
It's called Groundhog Day to begin with, and I feel like just good vibes from the movie, but. They got a hot jockey on him right now, and nothing gets him past the finish line more than the jockey. I mean, ultimately, he has the most control throughout the race. In a 7-furlong race, too, a jockey mistake is so costly because not enough time to catch up. So, the number 5 has a hot jockey, 7 furlongs, and he's quick out of the gate with good speed to continue it. So, I really like that from the standpoint of, again, shorter race. You need to get out. If you're not getting out of the gate, it's harder to come back, obviously, down the stretch here. And in Woodbine, actually, what we've noticed is the front's really good. The front could be good
especially in smaller fields,
depending on the wind condition. But over our time, small field, a track that does favor leads depending, obviously, on the wind direction. And a horse that gets the lead with a good jockey, top jockey that knows what he's doing. So I'm really looking for that to continue on the number 5, Groundhog Day. I'm going to follow it up with the 2, which is a 5-2 second favorite here next to the 3. I like 2, Analyzer. Again, should be up there with the 5. So hopefully they don't battle each other out. But I'm going for the 2 horses that I see at the top of this when I've envisioned the race going. They're going to be at the top right at the gate. Hopefully they don't battle each other out. Instead, they're there together. They're going head-to-head for this win in this smaller field. Like I said, 6-horse field. 3 kind of favorites and then a couple of long shots. These 2 are part of the mix.
What's interesting
and hopefully one of them going.
Interesting what you're saying about smaller fields. Sorry to interrupt there, but interesting what they say about smaller fields. Top 4 horses get paid money, right? Yeah. For where they finish. So they're not going to run at the top and maybe finish 5th or 6th. They're going to try and make sure they're in the money and then also try and win the race. So I think the ones who go in the lead are going to get away with it. I don't think anybody's going to pressure them and be the sacrificial lamb. But you're in a 10-horse race, though. Lots of guys have got to try and go because there's a lot of traffic out there. There's a lot of horses out there. Only 4 out of 10 are getting paid money. Yeah. So you've got to try and maybe get up there and battle those kinds of things. I don't think you're going to see that in a small field.
Right, and that's one of the things I like for the 2 specifically is he's been wide on the last couple of trips. So with a smaller field, it's almost impossible for him to be too wide. Yeah. So I'm assuming if he gets to the lead, there's only 2 horses there.
Exactly.
Should be tight to the rail and have a good finish there. So and dropping in class a little bit as well. For the 7th race, I'm actually going with 1 horse.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going big. And that will be on the 3. The 3 even out his last start, but has had a great backing starts to that. I'm looking for him to continue that. Is the strongest speed horse. He has a lot of speed. He gets to the front. He really, really goes. I don't know what the last trip was about, the reason he fell back. But this is a 5-furlong race. 5.5 furlong race. It's borderline quarter horse, not really, but it's 5.5 furlongs. It feels like that when you're used to thoroughbred racing. Yeah. I mean, he gets strong to the front. He has a great trainer. He has the best speed. He really should win this race with a good start. I see no reason why he can't. The only other one that can really get out there is the 7, but I'm not really feeling it. I'm feeling this 3. The 6 is another good out-of-the-gate horse. Way too long odds, will fade for sure. So the 7 is his only threat who can kind of match it, but I just have this great feeling on the 3. I think he's going to do just fine. I think he's going to rebound after a bad start, which means you're going to get some value, I think, in this play. Even though he's going to start as a favorite, I think he's going to get some value because of his last start. So I like that in a pick 4. And I'm just going all in on the 3 in the 7th race. Great trainer play, speed, pace, everything.
Small field helps guys trying to get away. There isn't 10 horses all coming at them. Right. He'll get to the front. I don't think anybody gets in the way in a small field.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, his trainer is 33% winning in 12. So I really like this. And I'm like I said, I'm just going for it's the final race. So that's a big deal, but it's a big risk that I think needs to be taken in pick 4 because in the other races, Stanford, we have quite a bit. So now let's move to Stanford. Like I said, we have quite a bit. I have 3 in the first race here. Just pulling up my notes real quick here. As it is horse racing, lots to know.
Lots of
I'm going to start with the 1. And the 1, first of all, has Bob McClure. And Bob McClure has transferred from the B tracks to Woodbine this year. He's done fairly well. Actually had an accident middle of the year, but has done had a great year so far. I like Bob McClure. I've followed him kind of because we have a buddies at the smaller tracks, so we follow him there. Kind of got on Woodbine here, done just fine. Been very impressive. Out of the 1 hole, his horse has done fairly well. Had his 2nd last week, so I'm just looking for him to basically improve on that 2nd, get the win here. The favorite he's going up against actually won last week. So, you know, they're kind of going head-to-head here. But besides that, there's no juggernaut here. There's no juggernaut favorite. And I like the 1 hole from that standpoint. It's actually not the best from Woodbine. Yeah. But Bob McClure, combination, 2nd last week, momentum,
he gets them going.
He gets them going. So I'm quite happy with that. The other one I am going to go is the 6. And there's not much here, honestly, in the 6. But there's one win a little farther back from the 6th hole that he did win, and I'm really looking for him to continue that. The 6th pole position is actually the top pole position at Woodbine. So I'm looking at Simon Allard is coming in to drive this horse on the 6th. I'm seeing him going from that hole. This horse has won in the past, guys, so I think if with a good trip he can get there, be a threat at the end. You got to throw some long shots in here if you're going to put in a... He's 12-1. He's 12-1, and with one of the top drivers there, 15% winning percentage, pretty good at Woodbine with how often they race.
And you mentioned a great point here, Joe. I'm just going to go in a little bit on the 6th position and the 5 are the highest winning positions. Why? Typically at a half-mile track, the 1 and 2 would be the top because the first turn is so close to the way they start. It's hard for anybody from the outside to actually get into the lead. But at Mohawk, you're dealing with a 7-8 mile track. This is something new if you haven't been there or haven't paid attention to that. It's a much bigger track. There's much more space from the start to the first turn, which allows the outside horses, the middle pack horses in these cases, to get kind of out straight and then cut in. So you'll see 5 and 6 as being the 2 best spots on winners on the track, not the 1 and 2 that you would typically find in a half-mile track. So it's a very interesting thing. It's something for you to keep an eye on when you're doing your own handicapping.
For sure. And my last one of this race, which should top it off at 3 horse for me, is the favorite 3-1 and the horse that won last week. He won at 1-5 at a lower class. Parisian Blue Chip. I'm, first of all, very familiar with the name of a horse called Quality Girl Blue Chip. But James McDonald's riding her. 1-5 last week. Won easily. Is moving up a tiny bit in class. Gonna make it difficult, but is the only one who's coming off a win.
Well, and that doesn't hurt in standardbred as much as it does in thoroughbred moving up. I see horses move up all the time, and off a win is a huge angle. That is a great angle.
So I certainly like that. I'm in favor of those 3 horses. So to round it up, it was 1-3-6 for me in the first race of the standardbred. Second race, I'm going 5, 6, 7. 3 top speed horses. 3 well, 1's not a favorite. The 6 is at 6-1. So here's your value bet. I had to throw the 5 and 7 in there though. They should be the best in this race. Kind of a mixed bag here. I don't really find anything that's stuck out to me, except they're all the top speed, and they're all coming from good positions from the outside with the longer straightaway than a short track, as you were saying. Should be able to get to the front there, control the pace of the race, and all 3 of them is what I'm thinking will be there. That's why I think one of them will come on top. The 3 should control the front, and assuming they control it properly, with 3 veteran drivers on their on their saddle there, shouldn't be an issue getting them to the finish line and having the tempo of the race controlled by them. And one of those 3 really getting to the finish line. The 6 and 7 probably behind the 5. 5 I imagine will take the lead. One of them will pull out. The 5 might be a juggernaut, might be able to roll on. But the 6 and 7 should be in perfect trips really coming down the stretch. So I don't see that race being dictated by anybody else besides those 3 horses.
Okay, that's good news. And I want to mention one thing for those of you that are new. It's hard not to put the favorites in your pick 4. Favorites do win between 40 and 45% of all the races. So when you're doing a pick 4, you got to have a good reason to leave a favorite out. So keep that in mind when you're handicapping. The favorites almost always have to be there.
The big race for us, guys, is race 1 at Standardbred, Woodbine Standardbred. I have a 6-1, a 12-1, and then the favorite.
We're going for the long shot there. Joey, recap your ticket and how much is it going to cost at 20 cents?
I did so much talking, I'm going to have to figure it out here. So I got 2 in race 6, horse Groundhog Day. Number 5, Analyzer number 2.
So 5 and 2 in the first leg.
And then I got number 3 named Black Sage in the 7th race. Number 3 in the 7th race, starring him by himself. Okay, guys, at Woodbine there. And then I got 3 in the first race, 1, 3, and 6 at Standardbred, Woodbine Standardbred. And then race 2, I got 5, 6, and 7 at Woodbine Standardbred. I don't know how much it cost you.
Well, Joe, you've done a really reasonable ticket, which is 2 times 1, which is 2. Times 3 is $6. Times 3 is $18. So I'm going to recommend here, Joey's going for a $1 bet. What does that mean? Whatever you do times the horses times $1. So he's spending a really modest $18 to try and win the pick 4 today. Mine's going to be a little bit bigger, so we're going to talk about that and how, you know, you might choose a 20-cent ticket over a $1 ticket depending on how you're feeling. So that's how math works on the pick 4. The easiest thing, if you're on HPI Bet, which I already talked to everybody about, get on the website because you can put in your bet without confirming it. And it shows you the amount. That shows you how much you're spending. So great tool, calculation tool on HPI Bet. So get on there and get your account if you don't already have it. You can use that to pre-set up a bet, know how much it's going to cost you before you commit. Now, a couple other things in the middle here of this pick 4. There might be a scratch. We're sitting here Friday morning telling you our picks. If there's a scratch, your ticket's going to cost you less. You need to make a decision whether you're going to jump in and add a horse or you're satisfied that horse's scratch is not going to impact all your thoughts. So you need to look at that. If you have a scratch, you will also then in the race. So in other words, you've made your ticket. So you just spent your $18 and there's a scratch during the 4. You will get the favorite in that race. That's your replacement for that horse that gets scratched. Okay. So pre-race, you can change out your bet before you've made a bet. So when you get to the track, check out the scratches and announce them and all that kind of stuff. If you're into your bet and one of your horses scratches, because it is 4 races, you're betting ahead of time, you will get the favorite in that race as a replacement. Okay, so don't expect to get your money back if the horse is scratched during the 4. They just give you the favorite. It's not a bad thing, as I just mentioned. So anyway, you're there with your $18 ticket. Joey, I love it. Love to be able to go for $1. You might hit on something that's really long. So now we're going to get into my pick, which I'm going to put on my glasses. Joey's going to blank out my screen with something interesting because my reading glasses really put a weird look on the screen. So he's going to do that for you, but I'm going to take a look at my bet. So race 6 over at Woodbine. Again, Joey, you mentioned small fields. We're not fans of small fields in multiple bets like this, but it is what it is. It's what they can get into the card for the night. So I'm going to look at 2 horses here. The 3. And he's had a pair of good races. That's one of the reasons I like him. And all on Brisnet, when you download that, you're going to see, but at the top, they have 4 categories. And the 3 is in all 4 of them. And he's in my number 1 category. I'm a huge fan of back class. Horses that have raced at higher levels, who can drop down sometimes and find their game again and can score a victory. So he is a back class horse, but he's in every category that Brisnet's had. So that's good for me. Also picking the 5, which I think you went on, Joey, as well. Hot Jockey, De Silva. These guys, you may not understand that, but jockeys and drivers get paid only by winning, only by cashing for their owners. They get a percentage of that. So when you choose a horse as a top jockey, you've got to assume he's going to be there. You've got to, that's how you make your living. So to get somebody like De Silva on this horse tells me something. So I'm good with that. Also, he's in all categories in Brisnet again, which again, you'll learn if you pick it up. And he's number 2 in class. And so I like, again, the class horses. So I've got 3 and 5 in the first. Race 7, number 7. Okay. So number 7's had decent races in here. And, but what I like most about him, you're going to get some odds on this horse. He's a private purchase. Okay, that was in the comments. So we were talking about the comments, right? So the guys at the track who write these things for you, they know the track inside out, things you may not even have picked up if you're trying to do this on your own. He was a private purchase before this race. Once again, just like I mentioned with jockeys, if you go and buy a horse, you like the horse. And what's the first thing you want to do when you just spent money? You want to make money. So I think they put the 7 in a great spot here, excuse me, to do well and win this race. Now, number 5 is my second pick here. And, excuse me. It's a big drop for this horse. He's dropping from higher classes down. He's been off for 8 months. Now, this typically would be a problem. However, he's a clocker special. Now, there's a lot to learn about racing, and one of those is that when they're doing trials in the morning, getting the horse ready to go, they're being clocked for time. And he had the fastest time and the distance that he went on that morning. So you need to learn more about that, obviously, but it's a clocker special, and that's on Brisnet. Also a hot trainer, which is Danny Bella. That's another key to those races and trying to pick off a horse. It's a long shot here, number 5. And I see all those things helping out. I don't know how he'll turn out in the money, but he's certainly my pick. I think is a possible long shot. Now, when I get to harness racing, I don't have a lot of comments like Joey did today because I have a lot of horses. I love the harness race, first 2 races. Last week I didn't because there were 3 to 5 shots. I don't think we have that this week. I think the morning line favorites 3 to 1 in race 1. So I love this because I think we're getting a really balanced race. So we can go after this pick 4. So what I've got in here, and this is a comment or a combination of Mike Hamilton and CompuBet. I've gone with the 1, 3, 4, 8, 9. Now the 1, 3, 4, 8 is what Mike Hamilton and CompuBet kind of agreed on. And then horse 9, take a look at horse 9. Jody Jamieson moving in. He's got a high percentage win with this particular trainer. And more importantly, you'll see the return on investment. This is one of the great charts in the program. And they've got a $9.68 return on value. That tells me Jody jumps on horses of this trainers who are ready to win. That's how you get that, because they're not the strongest horse in the field, and he's jumped on this horse. So take a look at number 9. I'm adding him over and above the comments, and you may want to bet that one individually for a little bit. Race 2, I'm going with the 1, 5, 6, 7, 4. Sorry, you probably did that out of order. 1, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we've got another opportunity in here. Lots of horses again in the race in my mind that have got an opportunity. So based on what those guys gave me in comments and that, that's my bet. Now, my bet is a lot more extensive, as you can tell by the amount of horses I have in the standardbred side. So my bet will be 2 times 2, which is 4, times 5, which is 20, times 5, which is 100. Now, you go ahead and spend $100 if you want, and you got the cash to do that. You got a better payout, obviously, if I'm right. But I'm going to go with 20 center. I'm going to go for $20. I think this is reasonable for most fans. It's going to be the kind of bet that most of us don't mind putting out when we go to the track. And to be honest, I'm the same on these longer shots. I like to play a lot more money when I'm strong on a horse and bet to win. But we get great opportunities like this. It's worth spending the 20 cents because you might get yourself one that's $300 or $400 20-cent win for. So you're going longer odds. You're going a little bit more lottery style, putting more horses in there. So in this case, I'm not going to spend $100. I'm going to spend 20, and that gets you that value there. So for me, it's number 3 and 5. It's number 5 and 7 with 1, 3, 4, 8, 9. And then with 1, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there you go. That's what a $20, 20-cent bet looks like. We're taking a shot on the standardbreds this week to catch a long shot in there. I think that's truly possible, and certainly from CompuBet and the comments from Mike Hamilton, there's enough mystery in this race that lets you pick off some possible horses and pick up a long shot there. So there we are. That's our pick 4 for the crossover bet tonight. Another great way, as we say, watch it on TV, follow it on the internet. You don't have to, don't have to run from Woodbine to Mohawk and be able to see the 2 races. So good luck with that. We'll be back on next Friday to do the crossover pick 4.